We came on the air saying this is one of those games that you circle on the schedule. And then all of a sudden it was a 25-2 run by Xavier in the first half. And we're thinking, well, all of a sudden, Butler made the comeback. Xavier answered with a counterpunch. And now it's another counterpunch by Butler to tie it up and force overtime.
Yeah, both teams have shown an enormous amount of toughness. Butler to crawl back into it. Xavier to be able to wipe the taste out of their mouth from allowing a big lead to slip away. But how about Butler's poise at the end? Now, oftentimes, there takes a little help from the opposition. Xavier, with 2 or 3 big mental errors in the final 2 minutes, allow for this overtime to happen.
A turnover against the press with about 52 seconds to go.
Najee Marshall fouling Sean McDermott on a rebound to keep Butler with the possession, and then you have Gooden stepping off Kamar Baldwin when they have a 3-point lead and giving up a long-range jump shot. But you know what? You got to wipe all that away. You got a 5-minute game.
Sometimes easier said than done. As far as foul trouble here in overtime, Nate Fowler has 4, Aaron Thompson has 4 for Butler. Nobody with 4 for Xavier. Karam Cantor to jump center again, and Fowler jumps a bit too early. And wins the tip, 9 of 11, 20 points.
You got to go right back to Cantor if you're Xavier. Here comes a little diagonal pick, try and get him in the post.
Fowler with those 4 fouls. Najee Marshall for 3. He's got it. Najee Marshall, the freshman, just a 35% shooter from 3, knocks down the first bucket here in overtime.
How about Cantor just surveying and inviting the double team to come and being a willing passer even though he's been red hot.
Jorgensen working the weave. Thompson to Baldwin. Baldwin with the right off the glass, puts it in.
Good movement side to side, and the more you move it, the more opportunities for driving lanes. And so when the ball went into Cantor, Martin came off Marshall. See what Butler will want to do in this overtime in terms of helping in the post.
Gooden kicks it back to Cantor, steps into one, it's an air ball. That's out of bounds. It will be Butler ball. Just the 3rd miss of the game for Karam Cantor.
You see Martin just kind of caught in the middle of the lane trying to make things uncomfortable. And Marshall gets the easy triple to go down. And so if you're Butler, I'd go right back to some good side-to-side ball movement to create some driving opportunities.
The weave has been effective for them to initiate the offense. Thompson deflected out of bounds. Will stay Butler ball with 11 on the shot clock. Here comes McDermott in. Thompson goes out.
Because whoever's guarding Aaron Thompson can have 2 feet in the lane, really plugging things up. But with McDermott, he's knocked down 5 threes. There's going to be more room to operate. 11 on the clock now.
Handoff here for Baldwin. 6 on the shot clock. Goes up top for Fowler. Puts it in.
And that's all made because McDermott's on the floor. His presence leaves the basket vacant, so great sub from LaVall Jordan results in a layup for Nate Fowler.
1-point lead for the Bulldogs coming up on 3 minutes to go here in overtime. Again into Cantor. Fowler with the 4 fouls. Cantor with the right puts it in. Karam Cantor now with 22. His single game high this year is 24 at Providence back on January 6th.
And just amazing pace. He plays so under control in the post.
Gooden was holding Martin, no whistle. Baldwin with the right, the floater, no. Marshall with the rebound, good box out of Fowler. What a game.
You got options here. Blewett obviously is always a viable one, but Cantor's been the hot hand.
Cantor for 3. Comes up short. You can see he was a bit hesitant on that.
Not the shot you want.
Keelan Martin the pull-up for 3. And a rebound for Gooden. Keelan Martin has 34 points on the night. He felt it right there, was looking for 37.
It's a shot he can make. He likes those rhythm step-in three-pointers.
Again to Cantor. Shot clock at 10.
Come disrupted a little bit if you're a Bulldog.
Another miss, a good rebound there by McDermott. Again, a chance for Butler to take the lead. Lavelle Jordan calls out the play. Baldwin tries to wrap the pass around to Fowler, and Fowler just fouled out. He fouls Trayvon Blewett, who will go to the free throw line for 2. And now both big men have fouled out here for Butler.
A great weak side rotation from Trayvon Blewett. Going to come underneath and help out the roll. Get the steal. Now he's going to go to the line, and Fowler will go to the bench, who's been having to guard Cantor and Weidman on the bench. But here comes Joey Brunk, another big body that Butler has. So although he's cold, he still is 6'11", and he sometimes just needs some bit of mass to stand in between Cantor and the basket.
And the fans rose to their feet when they saw Brunk stand up off the bench. Trayvon Blewett remains perfect at the line.
Nevertheless, it's hard to sit for 44 minutes and come in and be asked to play in crunch time here.
Blewett to give Xavier a 3-point lead. Comes up short. The rebound is tipped out by OMara to Blewett. OMara had just checked in for Cantor. Comes up with the offensive tip.
That's why you can't let up and always block out. Can't assume, even with a guy like Blewett, that he's going to make the free throw.
Blewett, the pull-up jumper. He's got it. He knew he had it. 4-point lead for Xavier, under a minute to go. Baldwin. Got fouled by Quentin Gooden, and Baldwin will go to the free throw line for 2.
A big sequence on the other end. I mean, to get the tip out off the missed free throw and then Blewett to get a jumper. Huge play. So OMara is just going to wedge in there. It's short, and he just tips it out. And then Xavier's able to free up Blewett for a jump shot.
Baldwin gets the first free throw to go. Aaron Thompson will come in. Thompson's coming in for McDermott. Kaiser Gates replaces Paul Scruggs for Xavier.
We got all ball handlers on the floor for Xavier now. And then Butler might come with some pressure here.
Makura also in. Baldwin knocks them both down. And now Henry Badley will check in. Joey Brunk goes to the bench. So a very small lineup for both teams.
Your bigs have been working for you. This is an interesting decision from Chris Mack here, because Butler doesn't necessarily have to come with pressure. They can defend this possession out. So you'd imagine it'll be Blewett as the guy.
Makura picked up by Baldwin. Gooden picks up the dribble. Shot clock to 10. Blewett wants it against Jorgensen. Gooden finds Blewett for a deep 3. He hits it again! 5-point lead. Baldwin to the hoop. Can't put it in. Badley's follow. No, but he gets fouled. The foul goes against Najee Marshall. That's the 4th against Marshall. 2 free throws coming here for Badley.
Now, sometimes your studs got to be studs in order to win on the road. And what a bomb from downtown Indy from Trayvon Blewett. Butler did everything right, but that man right there with just a massive triple.
He's got 26, 6 of 9 from three-point land. At the free throw line is Badley. Misses the first free throw. That's just his 3rd miss at the line this year. He's now 22 of 25 at the free throw line. Last year he was 4 of 9. So you're wondering in this crunch time, do the old habits come through?
He just doesn't get there a lot. So you're not comfortable. But now, if Butler doesn't have a bunch of time to work with here, they're going to have to set a press and foul right away.
Misses. Marshall gets fouled. And this foul is called against Kamar Baldwin. That's number 4 against Baldwin.
It's amazing how in a game like this it comes down to a couple of plays. The OMara offensive rebound tip out might have been the play that turned the tide for Xavier in this overtime.
Marshall at the line. 3 of 3 there tonight. 12 points. We'll get you out to Georgetown, Providence as soon as this game is over. Dave Sims, Donnie Marshall with a call of that one. We've got 14.9 seconds to go in overtime. It's a 5-point lead for Xavier right now. The Musketeers trying to move to 22-3 on the season and win 6 in a row. Marshall 1 of 2. And now a timeout taken here by Xavier. Their one timeout in overtime. With this timeout, we'll take a quick break as well. 6-point lead for the Musketeers here in OT.
Oh, that's lovely.
So graceful.
The corkscrew spin, flawless. His signature move, the Flying Dutchman. Poetry in motion.
And there it is, the baby bird.
Breathtaking.
A sumo wrestler figure skating? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Heather saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
96-90, 15.9 seconds to go. The 5th-ranked Musketeers leading the Butler Bulldogs here in overtime. Xavier called the timeout, want to go over their defense to set up against Butler. Now remember, it was a 7-point lead with 1:08 to go in regulation for Xavier. And Butler was able to come back and tie the game up, but this is a more difficult task right now for the Bulldogs.
And I think Chris Mack feels like the timeout being used to set the defense is more important than having a timeout to use if you get tied up in sort of a trap. And so some last-minute instructions, I'd imagine they'll go small and switch everything and just press out onto the three-point line. Because right now what gets you beat is a long-range jump shot. So you want to communicate those switches crisply and contest and rebound if you're Xavier.
As far as three-point shooters are concerned, for Butler, you're looking at McDermott, who's 5 of 6 in the game. Martin is 6 of 11. And Kamar Baldwin, 2 of 5. Jorgensen can shoot the 3. Those are the guys that you would think would be taking a 3 for Butler.
And because LaVall Jordan probably understands that Xavier's going to be switching everything, I don't know if you need to come with any sort of ball screen or anything like that. Might be in your best interest to just give that guy some room. See if he can't get someone to rock back and knock back a triple in Keelan Martin. But Sean McDermott also has knocked down 5 threes as well. So you got a handful of guys that have had a hot hand here in this second half.
It's going to be Keelan Martin on the floor with Baldwin, McDermott, Jorgensen, and Badley for Butler. Marshall, Gooden, Gates, Scruggs, and Blewett for Xavier.
I like this. Chris Mack just making things hard. See if you can't chew 2 or 3 seconds off the clock as they're trying to fight this pressure to get down the floor. His time is certainly of the essence.
Keelan Martin to inbound.
Baldwin's going to want to get to his left hand, so if I'm Xavier, I'm keeping Baldwin on the right side of the floor.
Here comes Baldwin. Baldwin pulls up, nope, gives it off to Martin for 3. In and out, and a rebound for Marshall. The foul by McDermott, and that should do it with 6.8 to go.
Got the look they wanted, a clean one from a guy who's been hot. Didn't have it. Another 3 for the Bulldogs.
This is a big-time win for the 5th-ranked team. Again, don't forget, coming up, Georgetown against Providence is coming up next. But the reason why this is a big game right now is, if you look at Xavier, what they have coming up, Saturday at Creighton, that game is on Fox. Next Wednesday against Seton Hall. Next Saturday against Villanova. How about that stretch?
Murderer's Row of the Big East, but what a performance from Xavier in a tough environment to win in overtime.
Baldwin hits the 3 with 2.6 seconds to go, makes it a 5-point game. But that will do it. 98-93 in overtime. Xavier moves to 22-3. Providence against Georgetown. Here's Dave Sims and Donnie Marshall with the call.
Georgetown's going to play hard, just like Patrick did. The folks that watch the Xavier